Yo, back with another one, man. About to get into this video, man. The biggest mistake Gucci man made, man. Video about Hello Your Son, man. Let's see what's going on real quick, man. Let's see what's happening.
I'm Ryan Rabel. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas. Thank you for coming. This week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas.
On April 2nd, 2026, the Federal Bureau of Investigation made a series of arrests surrounding the alleged kidnapping of Gucci Mane by his signed artist Pooh Shiesty. And this event has sparked a series of heated discussions.
I think I can unequivocally say that Pooh Shiesty is the stupidest criminal I've ever seen.
I think I could unequivocally say your opinion don't matter. You don't care about what you got to say, bro. Your opinion don't matter. It don't. It really don't matter at all.
Seen in my life.
Gucci Mane is officially the greatest snitch in hip-hop since 6ix9ine.
As well as addressing the accusations that Pooh Shiesty was incredibly stupid and Gucci's a quote-unquote snitch, we should address the bigger question, how the hell did everything go so wrong? In the 2010s, Gucci Mane's label 1017 was highly regarded for its ability to spot and nurture hip-hop artists, and had an early roster containing names like Waka Flocka, OJ the Juice Man, and Young Scooter.
Unstoppable roster. That's what should have always been on 1017, man. They dropped the ball with that.
As well as fostering different artists in that camp, such as a Nicki Minaj, a Young Thug, a Migos, and many more from the Atlanta region. The name 1017 comes from the address of Gucci's grandfather's house where he grew up in Alabama, and the 17th of October is unofficially referred to as Gucci Mane Day, or Guap Day, and is also the day he got married to his wife, Keisha Kaur. However, in the early 2020s, 1017 started to take a turn for the worse. Pooh Shiesty was a very promising talent, but because of his lifestyle, Gucci was taking a huge gamble. Shiesty was involved in 2 violent incidents in 2020, one of which made the news.
The surveillance shows a McLaren sports car, Mercedes Maybach, and another Mercedes pull into this East Bay Harbor Drive condo parking lot. Guys eventually get out. The meeting about a pair of high-end sneakers for sale and some money owed. Then this. The man in the white shirt has a pistol. The man in the black sweatshirt is also pointing a weapon. Shots are fired before the gunmen take off in their fancy getaway cars. The victims telling...
Now, imagine going to jail because you done shot a dude in the butt, and then you get out of jail and rob your CEO? Oh, man. That's crazy. Pooh Shiesty, wow.
Police 20-year-old Pooh Shiesty was behind the wheel of the McLaren.
The biggest takeaway from this story was how little Shiesty cared about covering his tracks. The shooting you just saw took place across the street from a police station, was on video, and a Louis Vuitton bag full of cash was left at the crime scene. The police were able to match the serial number of dollar bills from this bag with a dollar bill Pooh Shiesty flashed in a money spread on social media. As Pooh Shiesty's career continued to grow, he got into even more trouble.
Police say 22-year-old Lontrell Williams, who goes by that stage name Pooh Shiesty, was performing at King of Diamonds last month when someone knocked money out of his pocket. A crowd jumped in trying to collect the cash.
In April of 2022, when facing 3 separate charges, Shiesty took a plea deal and accepted a gun conspiracy charge for the robbery you just saw on CCTV and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. But this 5-year prison sentence pales in comparison to what happened in December that year.
We are following more breaking news tonight. This is about a Memphis rapper connected to Young Dolph. Rapper Big Scar has died. This is what was posted by rapper Gucci Mane on his Instagram page. It shows a picture of Big Scar along with the...
R.I.P. to Big Scar. If y'all ain't never heard Big Scar, if y'all ain't never listened to Big Scar, go get his album, man. I'm telling you, Big Scar was cold.
Caption that reads, "This hurts. I'm going to miss you."
Big Scar passed away at the age of 22 due to a drug overdose, as well as being a promising artist on Gucci's label, The New 1017, alongside Foogiano and Pooh Shiesty, who they've had multiple songs together. Big Scar was also Pooh Shiesty's cousin, and he died while Shiesty was in jail.
Big Scar passing away, like, I could agree with me being in there and having some alone time to think. I could really agree with it, but like to this day, I still ain't really got over that, you know what I'm saying? So it's my little cousin, like, I was there, you know, every step of the way until, unfortunately, I wasn't there no more, you know?
The label experienced another horror story in 2024 where the rapper Enchanting was put on life support due to another drug overdose. In June that year, a viral tweet broke down the series of unfortunate events that plagued 1017 artists. It read, "Status on all 6 of Gucci Mane's new 1017 artists. Pooh Shiesty, serving 8 years, which should be down as 5. Big Scar, passed away. Enchanting, on life support. Fujiano, serving 5 years. Hot Boy West, serving 15 years. K. Shade, dropped by the label. Roboy, dropped by the label. Hoodrich Pablo Juan, also facing RICO charges. Enchanting sadly had her life support turned off and passed away at the age of 26. By December, Gucci Mane was...
That's crazy. So most of your whole label either died and passed away or got locked up. And Gucci Mane made that statement and say, I'm going to let everybody go. Because I looked at the books, man. We looked at the numbers. I got to let everybody go off the label. I'm just going to keep Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano. Everybody else was gone anyway. They was already gone. What you mean you got to... you ain't had nobody to let go, really. Everybody was gone already. Crazy, bro.
Was placed in a very difficult situation.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Listen, I wanted to make this announcement on 1017 yesterday, but I just seen like my statement, my P&L with all my artists. You know, it's almost like a whole bunch of shakeup and it's a whole show in the industry right now. But when I look at my P&L and me being a businessman, I think that I'm gonna have to release almost all my artists except for Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano.
Who, nigga? You ain't had nobody. Who? You ain't had nobody to let go. We count Roboy. I ain't never even heard his music. Everybody else dead or locked up. Who the hell you released?
I know. This is a decision I didn't want to make. I thought about it. You know what I'm saying? I could keep all of them under the contract. But I said, hey, f it. Let's just make the unselfish decision and, let them take their talents elsewhere. So today, you know what I'm saying, I already reached out to all of my artists, you know what I'm saying, to their lawyers and whatever, and let them know that.
So why you just didn't let Pooh Shiesty go like that? You done told on the man, snitched on the man, got robbed and all that. All that could have been avoided if you could have just been like, all right, Pooh, I'm going to let you go.
They're free to take their talents elsewhere. And I'm still looking for new talent to pair up with, you know what I'm saying, Pooh and Fu, and that's where I'm gonna put my focus, and I just wish them the best, and I just want to let everybody.
In October of 2025, it looked as if this decision to keep Pooh Shiesty had paid off. He was released from prison and, like many rappers, released a first day out track which he called FDO. The song debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hip Hop and R&B charts and would continuously climb up the Hot 100 charts. The next step seemed obvious. Get Pooh Shiesty to record an album with 1017 and ride the wave. But this hadn't happened, and it could have taken a little bit more time, but Pooh Shiesty was also at a halfway house, so he couldn't move in the way that he wanted to for a full album rollout and presumably a tour afterwards. And in January, rumors began to circulate that Pooh Shiesty had different plans and was willing to take extreme measures to get out of his 1017 deal.
There's crazy rumors going on in the streets.
About what?
And I feel like people are scared to report on this. It's starting to really trickle out.
Don't go there.
The story that's going around that everybody's scared to report on, and this is just a rumor, is that basically Pooh Shiesty and Choppa Gang ran down on Gucci Mane, relieved him of some of his possessions, and basically forced him to sign a contract releasing Pooh Shiesty from 1017, the label.
However, there were some obvious problems with this story.
And why would Pooh Shiesty's team put that out when this is identical to the same type of case, controlling case, he just did time in the feds on?
And I agree. That sounds insane to get out of doing 4 years in the feds and then immediately do something that would basically get you right back in the feds.
No. That's not insane. Insane is your team putting that out there in the streets.
But nobody's putting it out there. This is just
somebody had to put it out there.
Listen.
What supported this rumor was the song FDO and the line, "Type influence I got where I'm from. Got Yo Gotti toting to Drake on God."
When you listen to the FDO song that Pooh Shiesty put out, he's shouting out Yo Gotti. anybody who fucks with Gucci Mane, it seems to me you do not fuck with Yo Gotti. Like, these lines have been drawn in the sand. That's not like a cool thing. If you're signed to Gucci Mane, you are not showing Yo Gotti love.
Pooh Shiesty also remained neutral when Gotti was beefing with Young Dolph.
And he's also the one rapper that didn't pick a side between CMG and Paper Route. And as a result, you can imagine that, you know, Yo Gotti probably on his line, like trying to do something for him, especially since Gucci seems like he's at an all-time low in terms of interest in promoting new artists or pushing the label side of 1017.
Shiesty allegedly wanted to leave his 1017 deal to sign with Gotti, also from Memphis, despite the fact that he was one of Gucci's biggest enemies. The beef between is sometimes attributed to Gotti releasing his mixtape CM7 on the 17th of October, which was a designated release day for Gucci. However, on The Breakfast Club in 2013, Charlemagne gave a more convincing source of the beef.
But then you started smashing his chick, and then he got angry.
Then he went
again.
to jail, and you started dating Keisha Dior.
Nah, then it was like, to me, I still felt like he was cool because like one of my partners who with me, like we argue all the time, and that's just what we do. Like it'll never come to Twitter or a radio interview or nothing like that. Then he got on the radio and said something. That's when it was like, okay, I don't cross that line. Like it's, you know what I mean? It'll never be like we cool no more.
Now I'm gonna go bang his girl.
I had already done that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that was your.
So you banged your partner's girl?
Damn, guy, man. You ain't my friend, man.
But that was your.
Crazy going on the radio and telling them, well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. If you know, you know. I mean, yeah, I thought everybody knew that Yo Gotti was banging Keisha. You know what I'm saying? You know, a bop gonna do what a bop gonna do.
Bop it!
I mean, it is what it is, man. But I thought everybody knew that. I ain't know a lot of people didn't know that. That was shocking to me that so many people didn't know. Because she was always with Yo Gotti.
But that was your girlfriend, though, right? Wasn't it like
Gotti said, Emmy, my partner. I didn't know that was your wife.
I ain't know that. Like, I ain't know that. I ain't know, like, you know, like you in love and all that.
Yeah, I got you.
Come on, man. You know how the game go.
In fact, there was speculation that the only reason why Memphis rappers like Shiesty and Big Scar were signed to 1017 was to undermine Gotti. And Gucci apparently did a similar thing in Atlanta when he was beefing with Jeezy.
What Gucci was doing, locking down Atlanta, signing everybody in Atlanta when he got into it with Jeezy, locking that city down, got into it with Gotti, signed the whole Memphis. Now they can't mess with him. Now all
who did he sign from Memphis? He signed Pooh Shiesty.
He signed like 9 artists from Memphis. Everybody he dropped was Memphis artists.
Okay, so you think that was because because we haven't heard anything publicly about him and Gucci and Gotti in forever.
But while Gotti and Gucci have a long-standing feud, it seemed pretty bizarre for Pooh Shiesty to get involved in this manner. However, what gave these rumors a lot more weight were the news stories that came after Big Scar's funeral in 2022. When Big Scar was buried, there were apparently some issues between Gucci and Big Scar's family, specifically involving the funeral and Big Scar's possessions.
Allegedly, they said that Gucci asked for Scar's 1017 chains back after he passed away, and they said that Gucci really did nothing for the funeral or nothing for the family.
Big Scar's brother had very strong words for Gucci Mane.
The minute that them folk called your phone to see if you gonna pay for the funeral, you blocked them. That's not real, cuz. On God, that's not real. You ain't straight. Come on now, cuz. You plucked. On God, that ain't straight, cuz. You on here trying to act all real. You posted Scar talking about some long live him, bro. You ain't do nothing, cuz. On God. And you ain't getting them chains, cuz. It ain't no way that's happening.
Gucci Mane supposedly paid $10K for the funeral. However, this only paid for half of it. And Big Scar's sister said,
That $10K ain't did for buy Bishop Ravens and flowers, boo. My brother was way more worth, baby. My brother worth more than 10K. Yeah, Gucci son 10,000, and it was somebody else on another team. So it was 20,000 and all, and we didn't get the flowers. I don't give what nobody say. He need to get in the field about my brother. Like the money don't even matter. You asking for the chains back. But anyway, the funeral will get paid for regardless.
However, Big Scar's father soon stepped in and calmed things down.
I got to send shouts out to Atlantic Records, man. They gave my son a big boy chance. Gucci, I got to send shouts out to Gucci too, y'all. He gave my son a major chance, man. You know, I can't let y'all throw dude under the bus like that. The truth is the truth. I gave nobody permission to do that. I'm the one ain't looking for nothing. I just want what rightfully belongs to my son.
See, his daddy was keeping it real, but at the same time, Gucci was bogus for asking for them 1017 chains and all that. Like, them was Scott chains. If you feel like they was your chains, if you feel like that, you should have been taking them back from him and keeping them until he was finna go out or go on tour. You should have let him have them just to wear around Memphis if they was your chains.
I ain't asking for nothing else. Gucci, he signed his 10 bands. I covered the rest. Certain things were said that shouldn't have been said. It was wrong. Man to man, I wish somebody would have just dialed my, and talked to your guy. You know what I'm saying? All this out of control. Gucci, y'all did y'all thing, man. I wished I could have met you, though. Shook your hand. But we text.
The most you can say about the situation is that there could be some tension between Pooh Shiesty and Gucci, but was it really enough to satisfy the wild rumors being circulated? However, in April of 2026, everything you heard from Adam 22 was vindicated by the feds, and an even more insane details started to emerge. According to the District Attorney of Northern Texas, there were 3 victims, one of which was seriously harmed.
One of the victims was actually choked by one of the defendants to the point of near unconsciousness. Defendant Wright barricaded the studio door with his body to prevent the victims from escaping.
Defendant Wright is better known as the rapper Big 30, and barricading the studio door meant that this was technically a kidnapping. Alongside Big 30 was and Big 30, keep in mind, is also somebody that was signed to.
And also, Big 30 did post a bond. They rejected his bond and then let him out and finna send him to Dallas. So you gotta wait till the case start.
To a record label with Moneybagg Yo, who's with Yo Gotti, and Big 30 had many hits with Pooh Shiesty, or the biggest Big 30 songs are also Pooh Shiesty songs. Alongside, Big 30 was one of Pooh Shiesty's own family members.
His father, Lontrell Williams Sr., is alleged to have helped plan and execute the federal kidnapping as charged in the complaint.
And these were no longer rumors anymore. In fact, they were now allegations.
The charging document outlines some of the evidence, just some, establishing the defendant's roles in the federal offense. This is as follows. Electronic monitoring data placing Williams Jr. at the offense location, which would put him in violation of his home detention conditions. Cell phone records and license plate reader data corroborating the coordinated travel of multiple defendants from Memphis, Tennessee to Dallas. Rental car records confirming Williams Sr. rented a vehicle that was used by the group. Surveillance footage from the offense location, a nearby office supply store, and a hotel where several of the defendants stayed following the offense. Fingerprint evidence as well that was recovered from the crime scene, matching at least 2 of the defendants. Social media posts by defendants displaying what appears to be stolen property just in the days following the offense. Greyhound bus records confirming the travel of multiple defendants from Dallas to Memphis the day after the.
There's no way we just robbed Gucci, man. And they took cash from Gucci and the other dude. No way we just did that. And y'all finna tell me I'm finna take a bus back to Memphis. Ain't happening at all.
The offense.
Myron Gaines, who's a former federal agent, broke down on his stream just how complacent Pooh Shiesty and his entourage were.
I think I can unequivocally say that Pooh Shiesty is the stupidest criminal I've ever seen in my life. Not only did he commit an extremely serious crime against a famous rapper, he did it with an ankle monitor on and 1080p. And the feds were able to track it, obviously. So on the day of the offense, approximately 1:50 p.m., Pooh Shiesty was seen on video entering a Staples. His rented Buick Enclave can be seen on surveillance video parking near the front of the store, after which Pooh Shiesty's father enters the store and walks to the copy printer machines. Investigators obtain a copy of a receipt that confirms that a transaction occurred at the copy printer machines at 1:59 p.m., the time Pooh Shiesty's father is seen on surveillance video near the machines. Due to the close timing of this visit to Staples prior to the offense, the fact that Pooh Shiesty's father went straight to the printing area of the store and the timing of the receipt confirming a transaction occurred while Pooh Shiesty Sr. was at or near these printers, investigators believe Pooh Shiesty's father went to Staples for the purpose of printing off the contractual release that was presented to Gucci Mane. These couldn't even print it at home. They had to go to a Staples to get the contract release printed? Yo!
There are Greyhound bus tickets which confirm that several of the suspects had traveled from Memphis to Dallas before the incident occurred, but there were other suspects who were even more careless when choosing their mode of transportation.
Cell phone records indicate that on January 13, 2026, Wright, Johnson, and Waters traveled together with the Dodge Ram from Dallas, Texas, and Memphis, Tennessee. The Dodge Charger Hellcat was stolen from the Comfort Inn in the early morning hours of January 11, 2020. It was reported stolen by an individual TA on January 13, 2026, shortly after Wright left. Yo! He did a robbery with a stolen car?
When looking through the court documents, there's no shortage of breadcrumbs linking these suspects to the scene of the crime.
Prior to this robbery, Pooh Shiesty and his people went to the liquor store and got red Solo cups and liquor, okay? He was day drinking as they did this robbery in the middle of the day. And they obviously left the liquor and the red cups behind. The FBI took the cups and got their fingerprints on them. Very nice watch. I think it retails around $10K or whatever, but it's worth like somewhere between $20,000 to $30,000, right? It's a very distinct watch, very popular, but not that many people have it, right? So this guy, one of the people in Pooh Shiesty's crew, robs one of the victims of this watch, and then he posts himself on Instagram wearing it, bro. Wow. You can't be serious, bro.
Yeah, now I ain't gonna lie. Now that dude, them that did that, they fried. They cooked. You can't say you didn't take it because they got the proof because you posted yourself on Instagram with it, which was stupid.
And these charges will be a real test of loyalty between Pooh Shiesty and his friends.
But by far the toughest thing going for Pooh Shiesty in this case is you got like 7 other co-defendants with you. If they get one of those people to flip for less time and say everything that happened, then Pooh Shiesty and a couple other folks might be going to jail for a very long time.
In the aftermath, many people have tried to decipher the logic behind Pooh Shiesty's actions. Mark Lamont Hill from the Joe Budden podcast suggested that Pooh Shiesty made a big assumption about Gucci Mane and his associates when trying to pull this off.
They're banking on a no snitching culture that said, yeah, we did this in broad daylight, and if he tell and give up the tapes, we cook, but he won't
ain't gonna do it. Who he is, he can't tell.
That's what they were banking on.
But this brings us into the second controversy and a very important question. How did the police find out about this? And was the person who informed the police also the person who once said this on Vlad TV?
You didn't research this on Gucci or whatever. Like, I ain't never shit this on nobody. There a lot of people come to me with that in my whole life since I was a little boy. You know what I'm saying? Even when I forget a lot of them, sometimes say, I have never shit this on nobody. I never wrote a statement on woman, and I never will. That's how I feel. I'm a true G. I never shit this on nobody. What we from, we'll do that. For real. This used to love zone 6. Well, niggas I fuck with my crew won't.
That's old. I don't know why they keep bringing that old clip up. That was like 20-something, 30 years ago. These days, Gucci said he telling everything.
Do that. Won't snitch on us. We stand for ourselves. Like, if I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't want to snitch on to save my nobody's life, not even my own.
Given Gucci's reputation, it was presumed that it was someone who was with Gucci who spoke with the police. Hernandez Govan, who had faced trial for the murder of Young Dolph and beat the case, told academics about the rumors that were going around Memphis.
Gucci got a bodyguard, which is an off-duty police officer.
Okay.
And you know,
best bodyguards to have too, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're not doing crime. When you're not doing crime.
Exactly. So with that being said, you know, when he was in there when it popped off, and he reached for his shit, but you know, he street had the ups on him. And so, you know, when the charges didn't come immediately, me and a few of my guys, you know, Go Slow, Prince, and you know, and said it, you know, we was under the impression that that the security, that the officer, you know, that the bodyguard was gonna keep it G on the strength of Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Him and Gucci probably had a bond.
Is that even possible though, right? Because if I hire
the only way it's possible, he would be breaking the law. You know, and I didn't. And my question was, damn, is he willing to put his freedom, his life, his family's life on the line for Gucci Mane to, you know, to basically hold this to his chest for the reputation of Gucci Mane? I didn't think so.
In these documents, there are 3 victims referenced by their initials, RD, MM, and BP. They were also accompanied by 2 security guards, CW and TD, who waited outside in the lobby. The internet has speculated that MM refers to Matt Marzal, who's a cameraman. The document shows injuries of what could be his neck and wrist. Gucci Mane's legal name is Roderick Davis, and the court documents speaking about RD owning a label called 1017. So there are no shades of doubt on who they're speaking about here. here. Then the document states MM, BP, and RD all personally knew Williams Jr. by both his legal name and the name under which he performs. Further down, Gucci also identified Big 30. The documents show clear evidence of cooperation between Gucci and the police. However, there's been a reluctance to condemn him until more information comes out.
The rules of the streets is if you cooperate with law enforcement and give them any information on any name other than yours, then yes, you are a rat.
Well, Whack 100, you must be a rat then, because you be telling on everybody.
These are the rules of the streets. For the last 5-10 years, everywhere I seen Gucci wasn't the streets. A yacht, an exclusive birthday party, a weekend trip to Vegas where he's...
Whack, you ain't been on no yacht, man. Stop lying. When did Whack 100 go get on the yacht? Lying for nothing.
Locked down in his suite, enjoying his friends, just to his label. I haven't seen Gucci rolling a blunt, personally. So is Gucci still upheld to the rules of the streets?
Yes.
Is he a Crip? Is he a Blood? Is he a GD, a BD, a Vice Lord?
You know Gucci a blood, Whack. Stop it. He one of your people. One of them Pyrus or something. He one of your peoples. Don't act like you don't know what gang Gucci in.
Who does he hang with? I don't believe he hangs with anybody but his wife and his family. I believe he socializes and associates with his business partners and who he deems to be his friends.
It's important to note that if Gucci denies that this incident ever occurred, then it implies that the contract he signed is completely valid and he would lose out on millions of dollars. And in the same month that Pooh Shiesty was released from prison, Gucci Mane released a memoir which reflected on the new clean life he was living and also revealed that he has schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Because of these issues, he often allows his wife to make decisions for him.
You know, with his wife, you know, she runs, you know, she wear the pants over there. Between that and him taking all that medicine and
Seeing Keisha with her pants over there is crazy.
I don't think Gucci on nothing. You know what I'm saying? I think this a whole totally different guap, you know.
So you think Gucci like washed up in terms of that mentality?
Yeah, I honestly do. I think he done became so successful in life. He you know, he love his family, he love his kids, he love his wife, and I just think he look at like, you know, he got too much to lose, and I ain't saying that's the wrong way to think, you know, just other motherfuckers just return and die by their respect, you know, and I'm one of them.
Well, really decide the fate of both artists will take place further down the line, but we can somewhat understand the frustration from Pooh Shiesty's behalf, because if the rumors are that Gucci Mane had made $20+ million during the time that Pooh Shiesty was locked up, and he only provided $10,000 to the funeral for his own cousin, there is some frustration to be had on Pooh Shiesty's behalf. But despite the mountain of evidence against Pooh Shiesty, the first day in the courtroom revealed that the feds were missing a very important piece of information.
So they're actually still in there, but what I can tell you is that a special agent from the FBI, Marcellus Hobbs, from the Dallas Violent Crimes Task Force, took the stand, and defense attorneys for Lontrell Williams Sr., Pooh Shiesty's father, and Rodney Wright Jr., also known as rapper Big 30, asked Hobbs a key question. Is there any hard evidence, like video surveillance, showing either man possessing a gun or threatening anyone? And Hobbs said no. He also testified that no concrete evidence was found in Wright's car or Williams' homes when they were arrested.
As I mentioned earlier, there are plenty of breadcrumbs linking all suspects to the scene of the crime, but the evidence of the actual crime is where things get interesting. If you look at page 1 of the court documents, there is the sole charge of kidnapping and a suspicious lack of any gun charges. The victims claim that they were held at gunpoint, but the feds seem to be struggling to find hard evidence of the use of any weapons. As you might recall, the only physical injuries came from choking, and the guns were merely used to keep everyone under control. At the moment, you could say that Pooh Shiesty probably did it, but whether the evidence meets the standard of beyond a reasonable doubt is a different story. What will strengthen the Fed's case is testimony from the victims, but this will be a hard sell for Gucci.
Now, is Gucci going to cooperate? Now, again, all of this is cooperating to some extent, right? But will Gucci continue now that he's getting...
Well, since it's a Fed case, and if the Feds keep the case, Gucci might get subpoenaed. But Gucci gonna have to go sit on that stand and say he don't know what they talking about. He gonna have to say he was high at the time or something.
Severe backlash. Will he continue? Will he continue, y'all? Because if he continues, he might have to go testify to grand jury. That might say, hey, listen, we want to know what happened. Because were y'all just having a heated argument? Did you say, hey, I want to leave? Did you show intent you wanted to leave? Did someone hold you? Did they tell you to get down? Did the dude really block the door, or he's just fat as fuck and he was standing near the door? So that's part of the indictment process for a grand jury. You might want to talk to the victim. Hey, come on in here. That we could ask you some questions. Is Gucci going to do that? I think not.
The 2 other victims could instead be used to testify, but the bigger problem involves the signing of the contract. Among the 3 victims, the only person who witnessed the contract being signed was Gucci, who was in an attached recording room with Pooh Shiesty, his father, and Big 30. Then they went outside the room into the studio and proceeded to rob the other victims. As DJ Vlad pointed out, if Gucci says that nothing happened, then he can't claim that he signed Pooh Shiesty's release under duress, and he will never make any more money off Pooh. If Gucci does take the stand against Pooh, then the contract release gets thrown out and Gucci continues to make money off him. But then everyone will call Gucci Mane a snitch, like they're doing now. So Gucci Mane will have to make a very difficult choice, him and his wife, money or this reputation. And Pooh Shiesty, for the sake of his entire
Gucci ain't got no choice. Once that subpoena come, he gonna have to go to that courtroom.
career in freedom, is probably praying to God that Gucci Mane takes the second option and he ends up winner takes all.
So yeah, man, y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about all this. It's your boy Buddha. I'm out.